What's up, y'all? Welcome to another successful Sundays. I'm of course your host, Coach AJ, Dope Life Coach, the dopest life coach out there. My apologies for not being here last Sunday, and I'm going to get into it because it's part of the discussion we're going to be having today. Um, but it was my birthday last Saturday, and I ended up taking my mother to Cuba, which is part of the conversation we're going to be talking about surrounding the word of patience because Lord knows I think we need to talk about it more and more. And I just saw another segment that makes me even more intrigued in this conversation of patience. But before we get right into it, I just want to take three deep breaths so we can just cleanse the air and just get situated for the week that we have ahead. So we're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. So in through your nose, sigh it out. In through your nose, sigh it out. One more time. In through your nose. Sigh it out. Okay, perfect. I'm glad that we got that energy cleared out. So today we're going to be talking about patience. And my mother, she always says patience is a virtue, and I do believe that. And I do believe that we sometimes forget how important impatience really can be and how it could be actually our power. We think that being impatient is such a thing, trying to be ahead of everybody is the best way to get it, but to get there. But crazy enough, being patient or slowing down the process is the fastest way that you're gonna get there. And I know it seems kind of backwards, but we're gonna be talking about that. So as I said, I was on vacation for a couple days. I took my mother to Cuba to celebrate my birthday and also Mother's Day. And I noticed how we interact in certain areas as human beings. It's telling. I think that we all think we're in a rush all the time, even when we're on time. Hear me out. So I was at the airport. I'm on my way home from Cuba to Toronto, and I noticed that they call out specific sets of people to go first before the general amount of us to get on the plane. First, it was people with young children. It was people who need assistance, a possible disability. And even when they were saying all this, everybody started lining up. My mom looked at me and she's like, "Why is everyone lining up?" I said, "I don't know," because we didn't hear our group get called yet. So we patiently sat down, we waited, and at one point, I remember my mother, there was across from us was a family with a young child. They had gotten up, but it was like 5 to 6 minutes later, they finally got in because people wouldn't allow them to go ahead of them. And it was just like, wow, like this is what we got. Like this is where we're at, like as a collective. And I said to my mom, I'm like, yo, like people are impatient. You know what I mean? Like, even though like the plane, no matter what, is gonna be there. There was no one on it yet. Your seat's already selected. You know what I mean? They're not gonna give your seat to nobody else. But folks are still standing up, even like lining up, even when we hadn't even heard our names or because they had zones being called. So eventually we got up and we started lining up. We got in, no problem, take off. Now we're landing. Now explain this to me. Why when we land, everybody's getting up and the door hasn't even opened yet? Again, impatient. And I even remember kinda like going back, even in Cuba, when we're going to the buffet, how at one point they were a little bit behind because I remember there was one even, I think it was our last evening, where they usually typically have 2 buffet rooms. They closed one down because just the amount of people that were there, they could use the small buffet room, and people were standing there tapping their feet, waiting for them to, because they were a little bit behind with the food. They're tapping their feet and waiting and all this stuff. I'm like, "Oh, the workers are doing the best they can." Like, they had to switch because it seems like they sent staff home. So things were a little bit different. I was just like, imagine you go on vacation to, like, rest, recuperate, relax, but even in rest, you're still impatient. Like, what does that say about how we live in our day-to-day lives? What does that say about us as a people of how we are so impatient? Like, what is the rush? What is the urgency? Is like it's kinda like how we live, right? We, like, wear a badge of honor thinking that being faster is but, like, I even see when we're driving, people feel like they need to speed to get somewhere. Meanwhile, they're speeding to go grocery shopping. Like, me and my brain, I'm like, "I just wanna get home back alive," not speeding and causing an accident possibly. Because rushing doesn't mean that you're progressing. It just means that you're actually panicking. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that you're actually getting anywhere faster than anybody else. It just means that you're actually panicking. So why is patience is an actual power? We're gonna go into it a little bit deeper, okay? And patience is a fear actually. Disguised as urgency. Fear you'll miss out, fall behind, or not even get yours. I want you to think about something right now in your life that are very impatient about. You keep writing it out, you keep talking to God, you keep talking to the universe, you keep saying like, "When am I gonna get it? When am I gonna get it? When am I gonna get it?" Because you've the fear of missing out. But what if there's something that you just need to sit in for a moment in order to receive it? What if you need to work through that impatient feeling in order to get rid of to make space for what it is that you're waiting for? Because hey, yo, if you're already thinking about it, typically it's already yours. If you already can see it as clear as day, it's already yours. But maybe there's something that is holding you back within yourself to not receive it. Because patience, believe it or not, is faith. And I can't tell you how many times that I have tried to do something and I just have to lean into faith and hope that it could carry me through. Like, for example, my podcast, right? We've hit 5 years this month of May of 2025. 5 years. Successful Sundays. I started, last year, late last year, I believe. Maybe it's even this year. I can't even remember, but we've been riding with this. And I have to have patience and I have to have faith that it'll all work out. And it's emotional maturity to know that like, okay, I got this. It's gonna work out. And it's also that self-regulation of checking in with yourself and knowing like it's gonna work out. It's no matter what, it's gonna work out. It's what separates you from those who burn out and who's built for something for lasting. And people think sometimes patience is soft, but actually patience is actually strategy. Like, think about a moment in your life where something you had to do finally came to fruition. It just took time, but it was because you had to use a specific strategy to make it happen. You had to take certain steps to actually make it come through. And it was that patience, because that's why I say patience is the power. It's a strategy within itself. And the more that we sit in the seat of patience, you'll see more things come through and you'll see more things actually effortlessly just align with you. So I want you to think about something right now that you want in your life and you can identify and know you've been a little bit impatient about it. Just a little bit. I want you to write it out this week. I've been impatient about X, and here's how I'm going to use patience as power to align and attract X. Because you probably have an idea already. And when you think of a quick reflection, also, too, you could write this one out. I'll put them in the description so that you could try this. How many people quit because it wasn't happening fast enough? In your life, when have you seen people quit something that it's not happening fast enough? Hmm. I've seen it a couple of times. It's not happening that way when I want it to happen, boom, I'm done. But you know what the crazy part is? It just came to my thought. Your timeline and your schedule and the higher ups, God, universe, ancestors timeline ain't gonna match because you're gonna say, I want it right now. And the crazy part is they're gonna say, you're not ready yet. And sometimes one of the reasons why I notice where some people are not ready yet is because they're not fully grateful for it just yet. Not saying that you're not deserving. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you're not grateful for it yet because you can't even just sit down and be patient and just allow it and trust the faith that it's gonna happen, it's gonna come through. Like, I want you to think about this too. How often do we jump from one idea to the next just because it's not working out? So instead of letting it grow, we just say, okay, this is not working, so I'm gonna try this. You could pivot. That's a great strategy. You could definitely pivot sometimes, but it doesn't mean you hop around from one to the next because this ain't working. Sometimes you gotta sit and work through those difficult moments and deal with the conflict. How often do you interrupt healing? Like, how often do you interrupt your own healing? your own love, growth, because we want it right now. A lot of us do. Many of us will interrupt our own healing and growth because and love because we're impatient. But if the moment you allow that to be patient, the moment that you allow yourself to be patient, that's when that love, that growth, that healing could come through. And patient makes you chase quantity over quality. That's a fact. And it's not sustainable to success in any way, shape, or form, but it is a way for survival. And if you want to if you want to come out of that survival mode, then yeah, you have to learn to be more patient. Remember, patience is literally your superpower for your success. I'm saying that. All right. So I want you to do something this week, and you could start doing this literally today, or you could do it tomorrow. Anytime you feel triggered to respond to a text, email, anything, take one deep breath. Just like how we did at the beginning. If you need to take three, do that before you even react. Because one thing you're going to start to learn, especially with patience, is you're going to learn how to control your reaction. Patience helps you with that a lot. Patience start like the good thing about patience is it starts to it starts with how we respond in like those very small little moments because we're trying to switch your mental muscle a little bit from maybe just responding right off the bat, especially with text messages and stuff. You don't got to reply right away. You could take a deep breath, read it again from a sense of a different angle, right? And then respond, right? On day two, and when you write down one thing you're working on instead of rushing it, write this underneath it. It's kind of like a mantra. I'm building this brick by brick. Okay. I'm building this brick by brick. It's not supposed to be done yet. I also want you to, if that even helps, picture yourself going upstairs. You're just taking one step at a time. Have you ever tried as a kid run up a set of stairs and then you buck a toe and you're like, oof? But if you actually take your time, you're less likely to hit your toe on any step. All right. So day three, when you're waiting, let's say like you're waiting in line, um, do like a mindful, sorry, when you're in a waiting moment, okay, whether you're in line or hold music or just relaxing, this is a good time for you to try creating a gratitude list. What are 10 things you're grateful for? You can start off with three. I usually do three. What are three things that you are grateful for? And another thing you could do is again, deep belly breathing. Start breathing from here, and then you could breathe out through your nose or out through your mouth and sigh it out. Okay. Another thing you can do on day four is choose one habit today to delay instead of indulge. So maybe it's not scrolling as soon as you get up. Maybe it's skipping fast food and just eating whole foods that you cook. Maybe it's not binge watching a show because also discipline is a form of patience too. Where I've learned discipline's a form of patience is through like my exercise. I think that everybody does this. You start lifting weights, and the first thing you think is like you're Arnold Schwarzenegger for some reason. But it takes time. I didn't feel like that until like months later. Like, okay, I see muscles. I see difference. I feel difference, right? It's all about that discipline. It forms your patience over time. And on day five, reflect on what patience has already given you. So on day five, which could be the Friday, let's say, or whatever day you decide to do this on, reflect on what patient has already given you. Write down one area in your life where you were patient and it paid off. See the thing, like I said, like it over time, the more you work on it, the proof builds belief. So the more that you work on it, the more that you believe it. You've done this before and you could definitely do it again and you'll repeat that in other areas of your life as well. So yeah, I hope that you can use that. I'll go through that again real quick. So day one, you're gonna pause before you react to an email, text message, whatever. You're gonna take a moment and you can also take three deep breaths like I showed you at the beginning. Um, you can number day two, write down one thing you're working on instead of rushing it. And under you're gonna write, "I'm building this brick by brick." It's not supposed to be done yet. You know what I'm saying? Like step, or you could do one step at a time. Day 3, when you're in a waiting moment, do one mindful thing, gratitude list. You can write out 3 things that you're grateful for, affirmations, or even again, deep breathing. Okay. Day 4, choose one habit today that you'll delay. For me, it's probably be some type of sweet. Or as soon as you get up, you don't doom scroll. Don't watch a show right off the bat. Skip the fast food, instead just eat cook whole foods. Day 5, write down one area in your life where you're patient and it paid off. And understand that whatever you're working on, you can do it over and over again. Proof builds belief. So I want you to remember that even though you may be going at a different pace, a slow pace, doesn't mean that you're stuck. I live a life of a very slow pace and as ease, and I realized that I actually moved the needle a whole lot further living a life of flow, living a life of ease versus trying to rush everything. Waiting for something and having patience doesn't mean that you're wasting your time. Okay? It means that you have faith, it means that you trust the process. And sometimes the biggest win is your ability not to force puzzle pieces that don't fit. All right? And it's important that you trust the timing that is set up for you, not the timing for everybody else. Move with intention and be patient with the things that you want, and understand that you're preparing yourself for something that's going to be far more greater than anything. Patience is the key to your success. I don't care what anybody says. It's absolute key to your success. So, if you haven't already, think of one affirmation that you would like to take with you for this week. I'll give you mine. I have a post-it note in my car. In order to receive, I must become. And the meaning of that is, in order to receive the things that I want in my life, I must become the person to receive it. And what kind of brought that up, I was working out one day, and I just said, if God wants me to receive all these things, I got to become the person to receive it, to maintain it, not just to receive it, but to maintain it and keep it close, because that's important to me. Because if I'm getting it from God and universe ancestors, I got to make sure I'm able to maintain it. So I got to become the person in order to maintain it. I So I hope you guys got some good gems out of that in terms of patience, because at the end of the day, patience is actually far more important than you can ever think, and it's far more powerful than can ever think. And I feel that it's a lost art. We've really lost the thought process of how important patience really is. And the moment that you slow the whole entire process down and you allow the patience to sink in and to be at the forefront, you will realize the things that you're supposed to have in your life will align very, very quickly, a lot more easily than you trying to force that energy and force the puzzle pieces to fit. All right. Again, I hope you have a successful week. This is another successful Sundays. I'll see you next week. And you know what to do, y'all. Walk with peace, walk with love.